I'm doing what I enjoy doing. It's like other men like to play golf, so they play golf every chance they can. So you don't say to them, how come you're playing golf today? You played last week. It was the same with me. To me, it is such fun creating characters, writing stories. It's an exciting life, and when you do something that you know the fans seem to enjoy, that gives you such satisfaction, you don't want to stop. Believe it or not, I almost never have been stuck on anything. Writing comes very easily to me. Everything else in the world is tough, but writing, I don't have any problem with that. I can't write fast enough to keep up with the things I want to say. I think whatever you do, you should do what you most want to do and what you're best at. Too many people don't really do what their heart's desire is, but they try to do something else because they think, well, it'll be easy to get a job or to make money. And if that happens, then when you're doing it, you feel like you're working. But if you do what you really want to do, you feel like you're playing. It's easier for you to do. I know I wanted to be a musician when I was young, but I had no talent for it. If I had wasted time trying to be a musician, I'd have either been a failure or I'd have been just an ordinary musician. But I love writing also, and it came easier to me. So I figured I'd stay with that. I think you have to do what you do best and what you enjoy.
Alright guys, welcome back to the Gamers Addict Show. I am your host, Player One. I'm here with One Man Band, and now, here, for the moment you've been waiting for, Bogy's Corner! Alright, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, and gaming, and Stanley, and Christmas fanatics! Welcome to Bogy's Corner! Alright, so this is episode 9 of the Gamer Addict Show. It's Bogy's Corner. And this one, this Bogy's Corner, I'm calling Bogy Growing Up with Stan Lee. Ooh. Who did not grow up with Stan Lee in this last 60, 70 decades? Alright, wow. So, now to let you know a little bit about Bogy's Corner is my experiences, as I have been able to be not only a video gamer, but toy collector, comic book collector, and just being an all-around boy growing up and having fun in games. This is what I'm sharing with you guys. So, again, since the 80s, I am covering what I've been doing. Some of the things I've talked about in the Bogy's Corner episodes are Pac-Man, Metal Gear Solid, Max Payne, Minecraft, Donkey Kong, Resident Evil 2, Driver 2, and the last one, it was Bogy's Top 10 Scariest Video Games. Yes. Wow. And in this episode, I'm going to talk about Bogy Growing Up with Stan Lee. Alright, so let's go ahead and begin with some details. So Stan Lee, as you guys know, he has passed away, unfortunately, this year, but it was his time. It was his time. So his full name is Stanley Martin Lieber. He was born December 28, 1922. Wow. Born, birthplace, New York City, New York. His parents are from Romania. His family, pretty much, aside from his parents, he had a brother named Larry. Now, his net worth was around $50 million by this year. And some of the things that he's known for and has done, he's been a comic book writer, editor, publisher, media producer, television host, actor, voice actor, and executive vice president. He has done so much, and so much for the comic book industry, and so much for our fantasies growing up. Unfortunately, he passed away Monday, November 12th, 2018, at 95 years old in a Los Angeles hospital. Wow. And you know, we sometimes don't really think about the people that are around us, especially the celebrities, the ones that we really look up to. And you know, he's been kicking butt all this time, but I didn't realize he was up there.
Yeah.
You know, and especially in these last 5-7 years where Marvel has done an amazing job of producing movies that we're all just enjoying so much. But he's been around, and we are so lucky and so blessed that he's been able to do cameo appearances. And we're going to talk about some of those here. And you're going to see some of those here on this monitor. I really hope you guys appreciate some of the prep that has been done here. You're seeing some black and white pictures of when Stan Lee was young. And you can see a big difference in the evolution of, you know, how he's gotten progressed over the years. All right, some of the nicknames that Stan Lee has been known for is the Godfather of Comics, the Hugh Hefner of superheroes, Comic Book King, Mastermind of Marvel Comics, Creator of the Marvel Universe, and so many more. Quick little timeline here. In 1939, at 18 years old, he began working at Timely Comics as an office assistant. He was being paid $8 a week, which kind of translates to today's money as $140. So not much. What he was doing was little mediocre things around the workplace. In 1941, at 19 years old, he became the editor-in-chief and art director of Timely Comics. 1942, he joined the United States Army during World War II and wrote manual scripts for training films and created posters. 1947, Lee got married to Joan Clayton Buca and lived in Long Island.
Oh, where I was born.
Long Island, all right. 1961, the creation of the Fantastic Four. 1963, the Avengers, a fictional team of superheroes created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. 2011, he was honored with a star at the Hollywood Walk of Fame. 2017, unfortunately, his wife Joan, of 69 years of marriage, passed away in 2017. So, some famous quotes, and let's see if some of you guys remember some of these or know about these. Here we go with the first one. Face front, true believers, by Stan Lee. Whosoever holds this hammer, if he be worthy, shall possess the power of Thor, by Stan Lee. It's your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Ooh, I love that one.
By Stan Lee. With great power comes great responsibility, by Stan Lee. Wives should be kissed, not heard, by Stan Lee. Yeah, I'm not joking around. He did come up with that one. I kind of like that one. I love you, honey. Mwah. All right, so those are some of the famous quotes by him. Now, things said about Stan Lee. His scale of imagination only exceeds by the size of his heart. Another one, such an inspiration to so many people, changed the world as we know it. A lot of the things that he's done, his moral, a lot of the things that he would push was always positive. For my third one, characters that continue to stand the test of time. Definitely, we're talking about Marvel characters, superhero characters, comic book characters from the 60s and on that still survive today.
Yeah,
and
amazing.
Movies are being made of them, creating millions to billions of dollars.
Well,
Now,
who's your favorite superhero from that era?
Wow.
What would you say, from the 60s?
there is no doubt my all-time favorite superhero is Spider-Man. That's it. Spider-Man, the man. This is what I grew up on, what I understood, what I felt from all those Marvel comics that were presented to me as a small child.
Wow. And some comments on here. Odin says, my depression pill was named Stan Lee.
Oh, wow.
Retro Alliance Gaming says, I loved all his cameos. He popped up in many Kevin Smith movies.
Sure did.
Yeah.
It's true.
All right, continuing with things said about Stan Lee. You were a man before your time. Agreed. Another saying, Stan Lee is a genius. Next one, he quite literally changed the landscape of entertainment forever. Listen, let's actually put this down right now at this point. If Stan Lee did not exist, we would not have what we have now. Who knows who would be able to be as creative, as powerful, as dedicated as what Stan Lee did. And we're talking about, starting back in the 1940s, 50s, 60s. If it wasn't for Stan Lee, we wouldn't have a lot of the stuff that you have up here. It wouldn't exist. Yeah. It wouldn't exist. Next thing said about Stan Lee, he quite literally, okay, I got that one. Next one, thank you for your imagination, creativity, tenacity, inspiration, and love. Next thing, Stan Lee's a creative genius. Next one, Stan Lee was a pioneering force. Yes, he was. Next one, Stan Lee was a visionary and a true artist. All right, now let's go ahead and talk about some notable achievements and accolades of Stan Lee. He worked for Marvel for 65 years. Wow. Lee's innovative contribution to the world of comics, he has won awards like National Medal of Arts, Saturn Awards, Screen Awards, Hollywood Walk of Fame, Producers Guild of America, Visual Effects Society Awards, and many, many more. Let's talk about some bogey facts here about Stan Lee. Stan Lee is really a force to be reckoned with. I mean, his contributions to our imagination, you know how many writers, artists, movies, executive producers have been affected as a child from growing up and seeing the creations or co-creations, because he co-wrote a lot of the things, of Stan Lee. I mean, those things cannot be denied. So, bogey fact, first job was as an usher in a movie theater. Now, he really enjoyed that because he got to see a lot of the movies for free. Bogey fact, favorite actor growing up was Errol Flynn. And of course, if you go real back, I mean, the Errol Flynn was one of the big movie star artists and action artists of that time. Favorite movie growing up was Captain Bogy. No, just kidding. It was Captain Blood. Look it up. Google.
Wait. I've
Captain
seen that movie,
Blood.
Captain Bogy.
No, you didn't, because
Yes.
it doesn't exist.
Yes, I have. That's he's like a famous professional wrestler, right?
No, he's not.
No,
No, he's not
I've
a
heard of the
professional.
term Bogey Mania.
Only you have. Okay, so he liked to play the flute around the office. Another bogey fact: Stan Lee was the first comic book that he wrote was in Captain America issue number 3. Now, Stan Lee is a fan of Bruce Lee films and followed writers like Mark Twain, Arthur Conan Doyle, William Shakespeare, Charles Dickens, etc. So you can see the imagination of Stan Lee, I mean, was, incredible. It was across all fields. All right, so another bogey fact. He was executive producer for 46 films. He was creator and co-creator of more than 340 superheroes and villains, more than any other person. And some of these you might have heard. The Incredible Hulk, Iron Man, Fantastic Four, Thor, X-Men, Ant-Man, The Avengers, Daredevil, Doctor Doom, Silver Surfer, and my favorite, Spider-Man. Now, Stan Lee has the power to inspire, entertain, and to connect. And actually, he would go to a lot of different colleges, and he would have talks, and he would kind of like listen to the Q&A and kind of try to get the pulse of what was going on with the young people out there. So he was very smart on that aspect. Again, he helped to usher the silver age of comic books. He's the cornerstone of comic books, and nothing to be denied on that. For decades, he provided both young and old with adventure, escape, comfort, confidence, inspiration, strength, friendship, joy. I mean, think about the comic books that you read. Why were you inspired to read it? So, and we're going to talk about that in the next segment in just a little bit. Is this the actual time? Oh my gosh. All right. Some of the things he enjoyed saying was, hang loose, face front, Excelsior, And one of my favorites, which I really didn't realize that it was Stan Lee, and I say this a lot, especially when I do my Facebook comments and so forth. Enough said. Wow, what a coincidence! I mean, he is the one that really pushed that saying. Now let's talk about the cameos. He has made the most cameos of most people in movies. We're going to talk about the top 5 that have made cameos in movies, and we'll see where he fits in on that one. Coming in at number 5, Jay Leno. He has done quite a few cameos, 25. Samuel L. Jackson comes in with 9. Larry King with 21 cameos. John Ratzenberger with 8 cameos. And Stan Lee coming in with 42 cameos. So he's been, and actually he has a clause in his contract for Marvel Comics that he needs to appear and a cameo in all Marvel movies. So that's awesome. I wish I had that power. All right, so at this point, guys, we have ended this first segment here. We have one more segment for Bogy's Corner, which we're going to talk about we're going to go in with trivia, and then I'm going to come with you guys to, kind of share your experiences and how you feel Stan Lee has affected your life in growing up with Stan Lee. So again, this is your boy Bogy here, ending this first segment of the Bogy's Corner of Bogy growing up with Stan Lee. And again, you are watching Bogy's Corner on the Gamers Addict Show.
So we have some.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Gamers Addict Show. We're here back with Bogy's Corner for round 2. Yeah.
All right, so this is the second segment of this special edition of this Christmas special for the Gamers Addict. And my nose keeps on slipping down. Okay, I got it adjusted. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and start a little trivia. But before that, I need to transform. Transforming. Without this one. Alright, nobody can see what I'm doing, right? You guys can see what I'm doing, right? And 3, 2, 1, action. Alright. So we are coming here to Bogy's Corner Trivia.
Yeah.
I got 5 questions. Of course, you cannot be looking at my screen, and especially you, because I know you're a cheater, because you're wearing sunglasses, and you always do that in every show.
You're not cool.
Alright, so here we go with the first question. Everybody looking forward, facing forward. Here is the first question. And Jay, player 1, you are looking at the YouTube comments to see if somebody answers, right?
Give me 1 second.
Okay.
And yes, I am looking at the comments.
Alright, so here we go. The first question of the Bogy Battle Bragging Bonus Trivia is, he used for the first time his first Stan Lee name after writing which comic book? Again, he used for the first time the name Stan Lee after writing which comic book? A. Spider-Man, B. Captain America, C. Mickey Mouse, D. Superman. The question is, he used for the first time the name Stan Lee after writing which comic book? A. Spider-Man, B. Captain America, C. Mickey Mouse, D. Spider-Man. So my panel here, give me some answers. Let's start with Christian.
I want to say Captain America.
Okay, player 1.
Captain America.
I'm gonna go with
One
Captain.
man.
I'm gonna go with Captain America.
All right.
Spider-Man.
Okay. So let's see some of the answers that you guys have given out there, so we can give an answer. What are we looking like? Anybody giving answers out there?
No, that was from before. Waiting on some responses.
So he used for the first time
Odin
the name
says Captain
Stan Lee
America.
after writing which comic book? A. Spider-Man, B. Captain America, C. Mickey Mouse, D. Superman. Oh, yeah, that actually came. You like that, right? Because you can't see my mouth.
Go, let go.
So yeah, one of the guests says Odin says Captain America.
All right. So the answer is a little drum roll, guys. Captain America. Yeah, very good. All right. Here we go with the second question for the Bogey Battle Bragging Bonus. Trivia is: what did Stan Lee want to become later in life? A novelist. B, an actor. C, an astronaut. Or D, a superhero. What did Stan Lee want to become later in life? A novelist. B, an actor. C, an astronaut. Or D, a superhero. So what did he want to become later in life?
GB.
Christian.
I'll say an actor.
Okay. Player one.
I say an astronaut.
Okay.
Yeah.
Santa Claus.
I'm gonna go with astronaut.
Okay.
Superhero?
Superhero. Okay. And the answer is, let's go. He wanted to become a novelist. Yes.
Wow.
He was surprised. He wanted to become a novelist. He came into Timely Comics. And from there, he thought that, okay, well, this little gig that I'm working with Timely is going to be just for the time being. But I would love to write books, be a novelist. But you know what? He got stuck in comic books. And thank goodness for us. We're the ones that benefited from it.
Wow.
All right, guys, here we go with the third question of the Bogey Battle Dragon Bonus Trivia. When serving in World War II, his recruiter looked at his resume and assigned Stan Lee to be A, playwright, B, a cook, C, a sniper, or D, a captain of his own ragtag group of outcast soldiers. So when serving in World War II, his recruiter looked at his resume and assigned him for Stan Lee to be a playwright, A, B, a cook, C, a sniper, or D, a captain of his own ragtag group of outcast soldiers. So, start over here.
Cook.
A cook, okay.
I'm gonna say a sniper.
A sniper. Player one.
The last one, backwards.
Okay, a captain of his own ragtag group of outcast soldiers.
I like that. Yeah, that one.
I wanna say cook.
A cook.
Yeah.
All right. Any answers out there?
Sensodyne said
Sniper.
sniper.
Huh. So let's go. Drum roll. A playwright. Yes, he was one of 9 that were selected according to what he put down in his resume. And he was the one that created the posters and a lot of the actual manuals and things like that.
Really?
Yes.
That's in the military?
In the military, World War II.
So maybe he created some of those posters like for World War
Alright
II.
guys, I'm going to have to reveal my identity because I'm getting hot in here, man. Oof. Yeah, it's really actually Captain Bogy here on the Spider-Man mask, man. That was getting hot.
It's not Spider-Man?
No, I'm sorry.
It's a different
It
one.
was getting caliente in here. Oof.
It's Bogy Man.
Alright.
Better,
Wow, this
even
pillow
better.
is comfy. Alright. Throw it out there. Alright, come on guys. Okay, so I guess Stan Lee's throwing a few curveballs out here, right?
yeah.
But we're getting to know him. That's the important thing. Alright guys, here we are with question 4, again, of the Bogey Battle Dragon Bonus Trivia. So question number 4. Being one of 9 playwrights, now that we know he was a playwright, in the Army, one of his partners would later be known as... Oh, the timer. Timer? We're good? Okay. So, one of his partners will later be known as Walt Disney, A, B, Dr. Seuss, C, Neil Armstrong, and who's Neil Armstrong? The first man on the moon. Or D, John Wayne. The question again is, being one of 9 playwrights. So there were 9 playwrights in the U.S. Army that were selected according to their resumes. And one of his partners, one of those 9, would later be known as A. Walt Disney, B. Dr. Seuss, C. Neil Armstrong, or D. John Wayne?
Wow.
Wow! This bogey trivia is pretty good.
Yeah, pretty short.
So,
That's good.
Christian.
I want to say Dr. Seuss.
Okay. Player one.
John Wayne.
One man Santa.
I'm gonna say Walt Disney because he served in the army.
Walt Disney.
Oh,
Oh.
he did?
Yeah, you did. Say Walt Disney.
Walt Disney.
I think Walt Disney.
So again, the question is, being one of 9 playwrights.
Odin says Walt Disney also.
Walt Disney, okay. Being one of 9 playwrights in the army, one of his partners will later be known as. I'm not hearing nothing, bro. I'm not hearing nothing. I need to hear it. B. Dr. Seuss. Yeah, good one.
Wow.
That's right. Dr. Seuss, very famous.
Yeah.
We know all the stories.
Yeah.
We grew up on, well, I don't know about you, you were a robot then. But the other 3 of us, I mean, we grew up on Dr. Seuss stories, and of course they made a movie on it and all that good stuff. All right, my last question, because Stanley's kind of embarrassing you guys, you know, most of you guys here, but that's okay. You guys are going to walk away with a little more knowledge of Stan Lee, who, again, he gave us 95 years of his life. The last question here, again, this is the Bogey Battle Bragging Bonus Trivia. Question number 5. Stan Lee based the character of Spider-Man on his brother Larry, A, B, Stan Lee's own childhood growing up, C, the life of Fidel Castro, D, tragic life of a real boy that was raised by spiders. I wanted to try to make this one easier
That one.
because you guys really bombed on the other ones. Again, Stan Lee based the character of Spider-Man on A, his brother Larry, B, Stan Lee's own childhood growing up, C, Fidel Castro, or D, the tragic life of a real boy that was raised by spiders. Ooh. So, what do you think?
Don't remember his siblings. Let's go with A.
A, his brother Larry? Okay.
I think
One man Santa.
I think earlier you said something about his brother, so I'm gonna go with his brother.
Okay. He's taking A, his brother Larry.
I'm gonna go
Clear
with,
one.
Castro.
Swear to God, if it's the spiders.
You're going with Castro.
Yeah.
On the life of Castro.
Yeah.
Stan Lee based Spider-Man on the life of Castro.
Yeah.
Fidel Castro.
He makes a good point.
Mr.
because
Castro.
He was out there in jungle.
First thing, Fidel.
He may have gotten bit by a spider.
All right. I'm trying to save his answer, but okay. He's
He got bit by an
He's
evil
focused on
spider.
it. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And Christian from Ghostbusters of Miami 305, your answer is?
His own childhood?
His own childhood. And the answer is?
I got more answers here.
Oh, we got some more answers. Hold on.
Odin says his own childhood.
Is okay.
Sensodyne says A.
Okay, which is his brother Larry.
And Retro Lions Gaming says A.
His brother Larry.
Alright, so now.
Now, the answer is? B. Stanley's own childhood. He based it on. Now, let's talk about Stan Lee while he was growing up. He was extremely smart. Now, he did part of this because, his parents were poor. So he was trying his best to be able to do well in school, graduate as early as he can, and be able to work and provide and help out with the family. So unfortunately, as he skipped a lot of grades, he was usually the smaller of a lot of these classmates. So he would be picked on a lot. All right. Now let's go back and let's think about Spider-Man's origin.
Yeah.
Spider-Man was what? Let's talk about Peter Parker. The heck was Spider-Man? Peter Parker. What happened in his life? Bullied.
Yeah.
He was always being bullied, right? By who?
Flash Thompson.
Flash Thompson. So, Stan Lee, he took some of his life experience and when was Spider-Man first introduced to us? An issue of what?
Amazing Fantasy. Oh, jeez, I feel like I'm going to butcher the number.
It's okay.
42, 24, one of those numbers.
15.
15, there we go.
So the Amazing Fantasy number 15. So, actually, that was the last issue of that particular title,
Yeah.
and we just happened to get Spider-Man in that issue there. So, he based a lot of that according to his experiences of growing up. Player one, start us off. So, Stan Lee, what did he mean for you?
Man, let me tell you, like growing up, if it wasn't for Stan Lee, I wouldn't have this big imagination I have today. I wouldn't have like the toy collections and the video games because a lot of his books dealt with like superheroes, overcoming obstacles. And as a young kid growing up, I had a lot of obstacles. Going through school, going through bullying, not having a father figure in my life. So for me, it was like a getaway to go into these books and read up about superheroes overcoming challenges in their lives.
Yep,
So
for sure.
it meant a lot to me.
Great. Christian, talk to us. Stan Lee, what did he mean for you?
With me, I mean, he actually had so many different characters and a diverse of different type of people in the Marvel universe that he created. That it just, for me, it felt like I can be a superhero because it could be anybody.
Awesome.
And
I like
it was
that.
just so much fun with the stories and all the different, like I said, all the different characters. I mean, they're great. Each one has their own little story to tell, their own backstory, original powers and everything. So with me, it was a lot of fun growing up, actually reading those comics and picking up the cards and playing some of the video games and everything like that.
Definitely. Mega Man, talk to us, man. Stan Lee, what did he mean for you?
I didn't read the comic books so much, but I used to always watch Spider-Man.
Sure.
And
On what planet was that?
different dimension.
Oh, okay.
But Stan Lee was known there too.
Yes, Stanley was very famous there. So I was picked on from elementary to middle school. I was either beaten or named or called out and stuff like that, and just playing the games and watching the shows and reading the books from friends because internet was still starting to happen when I was around. And I love Spider-Man in particular because in a lot of the books that I'm reading now, he's a character that does right.
Mm-hmm.
He's a character that does right because it's the way it should work.
Sure.
Because it's the good thing to do, and I've taken that into my everyday life
Awesome.
where I try to do right by people regardless of whatever it is, and that I can see the good in everyone,
I like
while other people may not.
that. All right.
It sucked hearing the news, and I was like, it really sucks, but at least his work will go on for years on end. And he still has cameos in other movies that they
That was
did.
a robot glitch.
Yeah. They
Awesome.
They make sure they film those cameos just in case.
Exactly. And One Man Santa, what does Stan Lee mean to you?
Well, for me, Stan Lee just epitomizes, imagination and creating your own universe. And as everybody else just said, like Christian and Player One and Mega Man, the diversity that he created. So many characters that not all of them got along. I mean, if you remember in X-Men, in the X-Men cartoons previously on X-Men, Cyclops and Wolverine never really got along. They kind of were kind of lusting over the same girl, but just over time with me, that started it for me. Then collecting all the Marvel cards, comic books. Then later on in life, as I got older, X-Men the movie started the series like in 2000, I believe it was, and Spider-Man. So being a teenager, being in high school around that time when these movies were coming out, getting to enjoy still a portion of that childhood, and even later on in life in my 20s, me and my best friend would stay up watching until 3 in the morning. Like we'll go party, and at 3 in the morning X-Men will be on. And we'll be like, oh, hey, X-Men's on. And we'll sit there at 3 in the morning and watch X-Men like we're 5, 6, 7 years old again.
Thank you, Stan Lee.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Now, Bogy.
Yeah.
Well, I'll share with you guys, I would say in the, not to throw my age out there, but mid-'80s, I started collecting comic books, and one of my first few comic books was Spider-Man. And then eventually I found where I could purchase them, because my first few issues a friend of mine had given to me. And then from there, Spider-Man, I've always heard of him, seen the cartoons, but reading the stories, it really grasped, my attention. and I kind of felt a lot of the things that were written on there. I wasn't as outgoing and as popular as a lot of people. So kind of seeing Peter Parker and Spider-Man, how he turned into that, and a lot of the things that he did, and the things that he would go through as a high schooler. Oh, that was awesome. That was a Flash from DC. But other than that, collecting all the different titles after that, from Captain America to Fantastic Four to the Punisher. It really opened up a fantasy universe for me, and it was very enjoyable. So I never thought of it at the time, but now when the passing of Stan Lee came, I kind of started thinking back that, wow, this guy has created a universe that has affected what I enjoy, and not only that, but passing that on to my children. And whenever a Marvel comic book movie would come out, I mean, I would be so excited, like that Marvel issue that I was looking forward to the next month, and be ready to go see that blockbuster movie. And thank goodness that Stan Lee was able to make so many cameos. Because I'll tell you this, whenever he made a cameo, just like everyone else, I was like, yeah! Even though it was 2 seconds or 5 seconds or 10 seconds.
To see more.
Yes. So we're blessed. We're in a genre, unlike any other, though, where Stan Lee is the ambassador, a representative of something that he loved, and he affected all the guys in this panel and beyond. So I'm very blessed that Stan Lee, did what he did, had the love for what he had, and we were the ones that were the victors, and definitely were affected by it.
Yes, sir.
All right, so I guess that's the time. Yeah. All right, Stan Lee. Well, listen, he's up there. He's watching down on us. He has left 95 years of his lifetime, down here to us. So hopefully we keep on doing the right thing according to his vision and his beliefs. So this is your boy Bogy here, ending this episode 9 of talking about Stan Lee and hanging out with Stan Lee and being affected by him. And if you don't know too much about him, go ahead and Google him, Google or YouTube. There's a lot of great videos on there. All right, so this is your boy Bogy here with the end of this Bogy's Corner, saying thanks a lot. So thanks for again watching another episode of Bogy's Corner. Enough said.
Game over.
Ah!